Okay, Linda, dusk to dawn lighting.
Okay. Almost 3 years ago, I brought this up because
died.
I know WAS is very opposed to it because
Police
it's...
chief is too, I bet. Go ahead.
Okay, Linda, carry on, please.
that people can build or buy a house and their neighbor can put up one of these god-awful dusk to dawn lights that totally ruins their ability to sit out on their deck, and enjoy the night sky. And I think it's horrendous that we allow this to happen in Bella Vista without a permit, that people's enjoyment of their home can be ruined. More recently, and I would like to bring it up again, to require a city permit to do it with permission of the people who are going to be adversely affected by such a light. I was out recently with some folks who are looking to build in Bella Vista, and they would like to build adjacent to the trail. They have been unable to find a lot because one of the things they want to do is to be able to sit out on their deck and enjoy the peace and quiet and darkness in Bella Vista. So they found a lot that they want to buy, which happens to be on Berkshire, and I have a plat here.
Is it one of yours?
No,
Well, it sounds like it's a real estate thing. But go ahead.
I'm trying to satisfy people who want to enjoy the rural environment in Bella Vista and are not being able to. Here's a situation where the house is here. There's a telephone pole across the street that has a dusk to dawn light that is paid for by the people that live in this house.
Yep.
They were looking to buy the lot on which this telephone pole sits, and Carroll Electric told them that even if they owned the lot that that pole is on, they could not have that light turned off. That is crazy to me.
It's not a city-paid light, it's a private.
Most of the
Contract.
lights that you see in Bella Vista are not city lights. They are privately owned dusk to dawn lights where the people pay Carroll Electric like $6 or $7 a month, and they flip on when it gets dark and stay on all night.
And you call them and they'll come and replace the bulb when it goes out.
Right. So here's a situation where they found a lot they want to buy, but even though the telephone pole is on that lot, they can't have it turned off because the guy across the street pays for it. I think it's an atrocious situation, and it's adversely affecting people's lives.
Short answer might be is to require any future street lights installed to be full cutoff design, which then you wouldn't have that problem.
But if they don't have to get a permit to do it, there's no mechanism.
Oh, yes, there is. You send a notice to the electric companies that service Bella Vista and to tell them any future street lights you install or replace shall be of this design.
Well,
That's our ordinance.
I'd love to have something put together that will
I'm
solve the
surprised.
problem.
I'm surprised, isn't our code now require in your building zoning somewheres require full cutoff fixtures anyway?
What do you mean by cutoff?
It's a design of the light so that it can only stray a certain distance from the light head.
Oh, everything's shielded.
Right. There's all outdoor lighting has to be shielded by state law.
Well, then this applies too.
But I think the problem is the existence of the light, of any type of light.
It may be existing and you can't.
The old ones.
Yeah. But what you could do is, if our rules don't require it now, is to require that on any upgrade or replacement of fixtures, they shall meet our code and send that notification off.
I think Carroll Electric would tell you that any new ones they put up comply with the
Yeah, they
outdoor
have told us
shield.
that.
They have to.
That may well be.
All over the state. Well,
may well
all
be.
electric companies all over the state.
So, but if we don't have that provision clearly, then maybe we need to rectify that language.
Well, I mean, and the other thing is, how can we tell somebody that they've got to deal with somebody else's light on their property?
It's an existing.
But how can Carroll Electric regulate that instead of the city regulating it, is my concern.
Well, the fact is that it's like an existing house that doesn't conform. We can't make it go away. It has to stay there until it expires for some reason.
So we now have 3 or 4 lots in here adjacent to the trail, which won't be sold because of that light.
Well, it's a positive, negative thing, I think, Linda. Positive side is that it illuminates other areas, and so it provides some security for them. And the negative side is, yes, it does shine on my windows or when I'm sitting on my deck, but there's a pro and con side to that. And I think that part of it needs to be balanced. The new light will not illuminate such a gross area, but will also not be as objectionable for
What's the
houses.
address of this lot?
Lots don't have addresses.
What,
Well, where is it then?
It's on Berkshire Lane.
Okay, so how far in? You know, you can,
It's almost to the cul-de-sac. There's the cul-de-sac. The house at the end of the cul-de-sac is number 67. I don't know what that other house number is.
so it's B-E-R-K-S-H-I-R-E?
BERK.
Off of Trafalgar. I mean, that's just one example. And there have been other people that have emailed me that say, how do I get rid of this light on my street? Because I can't see the stars and I can't sit on my deck.
But wouldn't their deck normally be on the back side of the house, on the other side of the light?
When you've got curving streets like this.
Well,
I had the same situation the first house I bought when I came here. And I would not have bought it again once I saw what the light did.
And house designs can be flipped, mirrored, to create the, I mean, there's, it is an isolated situation, and I would agree with you that it can be annoying, but you know it ahead of time. It's not like you live there and now all of a sudden that ugly light comes.
But you could. That could be, that is happening.
Well,
That
no,
is
because
happening.
if I understand Counselor right, that
The public funds cannot be used on anything other than shielded lights. Now, what I cannot tell you is that if a private person installs something on their own electric meter that might look like a street light, some of these things, I've seen them at
then
Lowe's,
this code kicks in.
then we need to look at that and see. I don't know that we permit those or not. I don't know.
And if our language isn't clear enough to apply to privately installed lights, even though they're under contract with Carroll Electric, we need to put that under the umbrella, which would preclude your issue from expanding.
Possible.
No, not possibly.
One thing, just
It would.
legally, you said, one thing you said is you wanted the neighbors to basically get the permission of the neighbors. You really can't have a city permitting scheme where you do that, because you give people a veto to a city license, which we really cannot permit.
But we already asked for neighbors' feedback
Well,
when
that's
we do a
fine.
variety of things.
You can get feedback, but it's not the yay or nay as to whether the permit is
It's
granted.
not the permission.
It could be the neighbors are objecting to it, but there would have to be some city reason, not just the opinion of the neighbors, that would preclude the issuance of the permit, which would have to be some sort of non-conformance with our requirements.
Okay, I just think there needs, our strategic plan clearly states that we are a rural area. We're not downtown Rogers. And I think protecting people's ability to see the stars and relax, not in a lit-up city, is important. And I'd like to, maybe Doug and I can talk about a way to get that resolved.
Okay.
If we need to do language to bring it under the umbrella of our ordinance, privately owned streetlights, I think that's something that's manageable under the code. It would seem to me, because it's not public, it's not ours. And whoever provides that then would need to comply with our rules, because it is a privately owned, even though it's not, it's a lease arrangement, it's privately owned. So I still think that that might even fall under the umbrella, maybe a purview of
So
our.
Linda, will you
Okay,
talk to
thank
that?
you. Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.